Yeah, give it like one more minute.
Yeah.
I'll blow it for like 1 second. I'll do an intro now and keep going. I'll do like a 1 minute intro. And then I'll keep going this way. I'm good. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, good. So Farwa, you're getting started right now. The meeting is good. We're starting.
Should we wait a little bit? It's we only have 9 people in the
No, we can get started. We're good. Everyone, I just want to say thank you so much. And I'm so excited that you're part of Kweller Prep's webinar. Farwa, you are a rock star on full scholarship to college, a child of immigrants. We're so proud of you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this webinar. I'm really, really excited to learn and listen about the Milken Scholarship. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge with everyone. Without further ado, Farwa, you're going to get started. I'm going to spotlight you
Okay.
so that you're on this, and I'm replacing spotlight. I'm also going to make you the meeting host as well. Oh my God, my superpowers are gone. So, all right, you're the meeting host. Thank you so much, Farwa. Have a wonderful meeting.
You too. Take care of yourself.
Just make me co-host, okay? Let me do
Okay.
that, and then we'll get started, okay?
Sounds good. Here, let me make you host. Here. There we go.
Awesome. All right, I will be on mute. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful meeting. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great, great, great time. Okay, bye, everyone.
Okay. Hi guys. Okay, so it's 7:04. We have some more people missing, but it's okay. We'll just get started. So a little bit about myself. So my name is Farwa Batul. I am a rising sophomore at Stanford University. I was a Questbridge match to Stanford last year. And obviously we did a Questbridge webinar on Tuesday. If you guys came in for that, so I'm sure you know what that is. If you don't know what that is, you can search it up. You have resources on Queller's website that will link you to the whole Questbridge thing. So separate story. But I guess let's like talk a little bit about my background and where I come from. Starting with my parents are immigrants, and so am I. My parents have never stepped foot into a college at all, like not so I'm from Pakistan, so they have never been to college in Pakistan, never been to college in the States. So just my dad was a high school graduate, and my mom did not even finish high school. So very humble beginnings. But yeah, we moved to the United States in 2012, December of that year. So towards the end, like December 16, I believe, to escape persecution in Pakistan. So moved here, didn't really know English, didn't really have, like, we didn't understand much about life. Moved to the United States, and I came into the 3rd grade when I first moved here. And I have 2 older siblings, a sister and a brother, and they both are older than me. So one is in medical school, one is in law school, and yeah, that's me. But I'm studying mathematics and economics in college, and I will be going for a 5th-year master's degree in mathematics. And I plan on doing going into finance, so hopefully quantitative finance specifically, but finance or consulting. So something more mathematical and critical thinking was beneficial for me. So I decided to go down the math route. But yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in, don't be afraid to ask me any questions. Feel free. You can also just type it in the chat if you do have any questions. But I have been working with, so I came into Kweller my summer before my senior year to study for the SAT. So I took the Kweller Prep June SAT course, the afternoon one, and then I took my SAT the October of my senior year when I was applying to colleges. So, and I've been working at Kweller teaching the SAT classes and doing college applications and private tutoring this past summer. So I'm still here. You can still find me at the center here and there. But yeah, so today's webinar is going to be about the Milken Scholars Program, which is a scholarship that I won last year, so senior year of my high school. I have a little presentation open up that we can view, so let me just pull that up. Yeah, if you guys do have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. Okay. So yeah, the Milken Scholars Program, that's the name of the scholarship. All right, let's see. So what is the Milken Scholars Program? So the Milken Scholars Program is a scholarship program that aims to identify exceptional young individuals who demonstrate academic excellence, leadership potential, and a commitment to community service. So the big focus of this program is not only academics. I know there's a lot of like it's called a scholarship, so a lot of it is like academic based. But the good thing about this program is that it really focuses on lifelong effects to better the world. That is the motto: lifelong leaders for a better world. That is the motto of the program, and they really want to just have students that they think have the potential to bring positive change into the world. But this program was founded by Lori and Michael Milken, who is a philanthropist and a financer, and he is an exceptionally transformative force in the United States. So they were very glad that I got to meet him, and I hope you guys can too someday. So how this program works is they choose scholars from New York City, Los Angeles County, as well as Washington, D.C. So it's not a national thing. It's scholars are chosen specifically from these three areas. And it's very competitive because total cohort per year is about 22 students. So my year, we had 21 students in the entirety of class of 2022. That was the Milken Scholars cohort for that year. So there's typically around 5 to 6 scholars chosen from New York City, 4 to 5 chosen from Washington, D.C., and then there's about 11 to 12 from LA. I know it sounds a little bit unfair since there's just so many scholars from LA. It's because the program was founded in Los Angeles, and Mike and Milken and Laura Milken are from Los Angeles. That's why they just have a little bit more scholars from that side. So it is a very challenging program to get into. As you can see, there's only 5 to 6 people from New York City, and given the New York City's population, that is a very small number. Yeah. So let's talk about the selection process. How does this even work? So October 17th, this was specific to my year. Every year it's a little bit different, but like a day or two back and forth, but typically the structure is around the same. So October 17, 2022, the nomination period opens. So what does that mean? In order to even get into this program or to even start applying for this program, you have to be nominated by a school official from your school. So in my case, I didn't hear about a scholarship until my guidance counselor said that, hey, there's this program and I want to recommend you for it. And I want to send you forth for it. So he came up to me and told me that, which I'm very grateful for, or otherwise I would have not known that this amazing program existed. So you guys are lucky enough that you guys have Kweller Prep to tell you guys this. So yeah, you have to talk to your guidance counselor because it's possible that they might not even know about it since it is a very niche scholarship. So either they know it and they are not recommending you, or you just like go up to them, ask about it, right? So go up to your guidance counselor. You can also be a school official, so principals, assistant principals, even an AP from like a specific subject can do that. So you want to go to a guidance counselor or a school official and reach out to them about this program because the nomination period does open in October. So October of your senior year. So this program is applicable for seniors. So October, you go up to your guidance counselor, you tell them, hey, are you able to nominate me for this program? And then on their end, they have to do an application or a nomination process, which asks them about your academic records, your transcripts, your any standardized tests you've taken, and they write letters of recommendation for you. And they write essays. In this case, means like short response. They have to write short. They write short response on your behalf. So it has to be somebody that like they know you, that you're a good student, so because they're gonna have to write something about you, right? So you might even have to give them a little bit of writing piece so they know more about you just in general. But if you know a Milken scholar, then they are also able to nominate you for it. So that's where the interesting part comes in, right? Mainly, it's always usually like school officials, guidance counselors, principals. But you can, if you know a Milken scholar, they are also able to nominate you. So, for example, for me, I was a Milken scholar last year, so I had the opportunity to nominate people that I thought might be good for this program, and so I recommended this girl in my in Townsend Harris. Her name is Ria, and I recommended her. So she is a Milken Scholar of 2023. So it works out. It's a process. So yeah, if you know a scholar, which in this case for you guys would be me, it is a really good opportunity. Okay, so October 17th, that's when the application opens for the guidance counselor. And then the deadline for nominations is November 18th. So you're given about a month to actually submit all of the nominations. And then November 30th, the actual like nominees find out that they have been nominated. So, and as in by November 18, my guidance counselor submitted all the things that he needed to submit on my behalf to recommend me. And then November 30th, I found out that I was recommended. And therefore, then I was able to make an account and actually start the application on my end. So January 12, 2023, or I guess like my year 2022, this was all due. My application's online. I went online. I had an email logged in. There was a long application that I had to submit by January of the next year. So I had about 2.5 months to prep for that, which is just enough time. It's not like there's not too many things to the actual application. It's just like very fast, but there's not like too much to do, which we'll get into it a little bit. So everything is due January 12th, and then March, towards the mid-March, end of March, you find out whether you were a finalist or not. So after reading your applications, they decide who the semi-finalists are, right, or the finalists are. So once you find out that you were a finalist, after this, you will be told that you are going to get an interview the end of April. So sometimes it's really different. The star next to the dates mean that they're open to changing. It's just different every year. So but then yeah, once you are a finalist, you will be asked for an interview, and it is usually an hour and a half long, and it's a sort of a panel. So it's going to be 4 people interviewing you, and you're going to be on the receiving end and answering questions. And during the time of the interview is also when they tell you important dates. For example, the recognition dinner, which is what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Recognition dinner, and for the summits, which we'll also talk about in a little bit. But they give you very important dates as to the timeline for what days you have to be free. But yeah, so towards the end of April, you get your interviews, and then the DC people have their interviews. This doesn't happen at the same time. So New York happens like they're happening simultaneously, but it's not happening at the exact same time, if you know what that means. But so, and then May 11th, the 2023, or I guess that year's New York scholars are notified via phone. So you're going to get a phone call. You sometimes even get an email. They just give you a Zoom link. They'll send you a Zoom link. That happened to me. So they just sent me a Zoom link. They said, hey, can you hop on to Zoom tomorrow this time? And I was like, this is so weird. Like, why am I on here? I thought it was going to be a bad news because they didn't send anything in the email. So when I went to the Zoom call, I was like, going in with the expectation that they were going to tell me that, hey, sorry, that didn't happen. But they actually were like, oh, congratulations, like you are part of the Milken Scholars family, which was really cool. So sometimes they'll give you a phone call, they'll send you an email saying, hey, hop on a Zoom call, or they'll just say, sorry, it didn't work out. And then, yeah, then the DC scholars are notified. And then towards the end of May, the scholars are announced publicly. So the actual Milken Scholars Foundation will go on their website, and they're going to put up your photos with your bio and saying these are the New York scholars of that year. And then they have it up on a couple newspapers here and there. And they put it up on their like social media, so their Instagram, their LinkedIn, all of that. And then same way the DC scholars are announced publicly, and then the LA scholars are so LA is the last one. But yeah, this does happen. So the selection of the finalists for the Milken Scholars Program is made up by a committee comprised of individuals who are part of the foundation. This includes like program staff, educators, community leaders, professionals, and even Milken scholars. So it's every year it's a little bit different as to who reads what essay and what part of the selection process. But um yeah, but typically it's like educators as in like professors and teachers who have really dedicated long time into education, and now they are being their foundation asks them to come into their program because they are these exceptional educators. So these are students, these are teachers, they can even be students, the Milken scholars. Um, these are typically like the older ones, not us. But yeah, so very big committee that reads your essays, look at your text scores, bunch of stuff. Okay, so let's look at the selection criteria. So how do you even know whether we are qualified for this or not? So number one is the minimum unweighted GPA of 3.6 or 90 in all academic high school subject areas. So you do want really good grades, as you do for any scholarship. Even when you're applying to colleges, they won't require you to have high grades. So that's exactly what the Milken Scholars Foundation also asks you for. Active participation in community service activities. So this is a big one because, like I said, this foundation has a really big support, really big emphasis on community and giving back to the world. So they really, really want to see people who are engaged in community service. And if you are not yet, that's okay. You have time. You have time to build up. And even if you haven't done it for a long time, like you can still frame your story in a way that shows how important, how you think community service is so important, how you might continue doing that in the future. For me, it was a little bit different since I did do community service for a really long time, and that was mainly because I was just really interested in that. When my parents and I and my family and I moved to from Pakistan to the United States, there was this like little social services council near my house where we used to go for the English classes and the computer classes. And they were just like really, really sweet, humble, nice people that sort of made the whole journey very like welcoming. So once I was old enough, this was, I believe, eighth grade, I was 14. That's when I started volunteering back at this social service center because I just wanted to give back. They were just so nice, and the relationships I built there were just so rich that I wanted to go back there and volunteer during the summer. So I did that, and I did that over the school year. And then I did a bunch of other community service stuff in school. I was like part of the Key Club. I just like community service to begin with. So if that's not the case for you, that's totally fine. No need to freak out. You always have time to do that. Number three is a record of leadership. And they don't mean leadership as in like you have to be the president of a club, you have to be like, that's not what they don't mean like literally leadership. You don't have to have a leadership position in a club in your school to fit that's its criteria. It's more like, oh, you're taking initiatives, you are somebody who is able to lead. Like for me, I wasn't a part of student government or anything like that. I just created a peer tutoring club in my school, which I thought it was just important. That was just because I thought a lot of my friends were struggling in certain classes, and then SAT classes were really expensive. So I started stuff up like a tutoring club in school where students who were not able to afford these tutoring services were able to come and ask for the extra help that they might need from students who might already have the knowledge. So I wasn't like, I mean, yeah, I like founded the club, but I never like labeled myself as like the president or anything like that. I have never like saw myself as that. It was more like I took the initiative to start something my school lacked, and that shows leadership. So it's not just about like being the president of your school or like the vice president or the treasurer. It's not, that's not what it's about. It's more about just taking initiative. Financial or other obstacles. So other obstacles can be like health issues. If you grew up with a certain condition that hindered you from like participating in normal activities, you can write about that. Financial obstacles, if you are somebody who comes from a under privileged background, write about it, right? They ask for that. They ask for the assets and how much your parents make, how much you make if you work, all of that. They take that into consideration as well. The goal is to find students who need the help to like better themselves in the future and lead the world. And then you also need an admission to a four-year college or university prior to the final selection. So like I said, this program is taking place like towards the middle of your senior year. So at this point, you probably already know what school you're going to, or you're like in the middle of applying to a school. So like you're going to be telling this Milken program about your college journey. So you guys are going to be in touch on that. But you do have to get an admission into a four-year college or university in order to actually become a scholar, which is why they like wait till June to actually announce who the scholars are, because by then everybody finds out what college they're going to, if they are going to one. So I'm sure that's not a problem for us. If we're at Kweller, I'm sure we all are going to go to college. And then they also don't have like a really strong restriction on like citizenship or residency. Like you can be anybody. You can be an immigrant who is a DACA recipient, or a permanent resident, or just a U.S. citizen to be part of this program. I think I got a question. Which high school did you go to, and what was your SAT score? So I went to Townsend Harris High School, class of 2022, and I got a 1590 on my SAT. So this I received this scholarship my senior year. So the start of this progress of this like application was 2021. So then I was nominated for it in 2021 October, and then I had to submit all of my applications by January of 2022. So I found I was going through this process senior year of my high school, so 2 years ago. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, clarifications, please let me know. Okay, let's do the next one. Let's do an application checklist. So yeah, it is, you apply to this program through SurveyMonkey. You'll know all about that. It's super easy to navigate once you receive that email. So you're gonna put in your personal information, your family information, your education, the activities you've done, your AP exams. They ask for an AP score report from College Board, your transcript, everything goes here. So a lot of like technical stuff. And then they have a family financial profile, which asks for the tax records of your parents. So this is just to see where you stand in terms of like finances. They're not super strict about like you have to be, if you have a certain income to apply for this program, because it doesn't have like a cutoff. So don't worry, you don't have to think that you have to come from low class in order to be part of this program. That is not the case at all. As long as you have the character and the things that they're looking for, you are able to apply for it, and you're going to be like standing equally with other candidates. And then it has an essay question, and this is also online. It's submitted with your application, and this essay is typically about the experiences or aspirations or any leadership qualities or commitment to community service. It's different every year, but it is very similar to your like Common App, your personal statement, because I wrote my personal statement about my background, and I tied that into education and how I think higher education is important and how education is necessary for change. So I just reuse my personal statement essay. But if you're writing about something different that does not fit in within the criteria of experiences, aspirations, or leadership, you do want to tailor the essay more towards that, because that's what they're looking for. So I really recommend like going through, just understanding what they're looking for in their candidates, and sort of forming your essay in that behalf. Cool. Okay. Then you need 2 letters of recommendation, or your letter of recommendation should be completed online by whoever you ask the letter for. So once you ask for them to give you a letter, you will put it in their email and their names onto the website from your end, and it's going to send them an email directly of how to do it, and then they're going to follow through on their end. But who should you ask? It really doesn't really matter who it is. It should be a teacher, but I did one teacher and one like boss, sort of. The place that I was volunteering at, he was my supervisor. I asked my supervisor only because I worked with them for about 4.5 years, so they knew me very well as a person. They've sort of seen me grown through high school. So I asked my person that I was volunteering with, and then I asked one of my teachers. You can obviously ask 2 teachers from school, doesn't matter. The most recent, the better. So try to ask like your junior year teachers who've known you for a year, or try to ask more like recent teachers or teachers that have had you for multiple years. Like I had asked my AP Spanish teacher who had taught me freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year. So he had known me for 3 years, who was able to speak not just on my character and as like me as a student, but also me growing up and throughout high school. So doesn't really matter who you ask. There's no specific criteria, but it's highly recommended that it is a teacher. You can also have like friends write it. That is an option, but I would not recommend that. They allow that. Milken Scholars allows that. You can ask a friend to write an application for, to write a recommendation letter for you, to vouch for you pretty much, but I would not recommend that. I would say do a teacher. So yeah, there is no criteria per se. But same, like the teachers you would ask for a college recommendation, you can ask them. Maybe they're able to just resend them, send the same recommendation letter, so they don't have to write a new one. But yeah. Cool. And then number 5 is a copy of your current high school transcript. So obviously, your guidance counselor or whoever recommends you is going to send your official transcript to them already. So they don't need you to submit your official transcript again. You can just submit an unofficial transcript, which you can download from your school's website, or if you guys still use PeoplePath, I don't know if that's a thing anymore. But yeah, you can download it, or I'm sure your guidance counselors will be sending you your transcripts throughout your senior year, because that is something that they colleges ask for mid semester. So I'm sure you're going to have your transcript with you at that time anyway. And the last thing they want is copies of your SAT or the SAT that you have taken. For the last year, it was optional since we did go through the pandemic, but normally it is required. So my year, it was also optional since I was also just right after the pandemic. I don't know when they're going to go back to being the one they're going to go back to requiring it, if they're even going to go back. But yeah, you are just able to download your test score from College Board or the ACT website and send it directly to the Milken program. And if you've taken more than one test and you have done well on one section on one test and really well on the other section on the other test, you can send both in and they will super score it. So let's say you got like a 700 in reading, but you got like a I don't know, 500 in math. But then in the second test, you got like a 700 on the math, but like a 600 on the reading. They're going to take that score and super score it. So now you have 700 both in English and in math. So that's what super scoring means, if you know. Let's see. With the question, did you apply scholarship or financial aid or none when you applied? So I applied to college through the Questbridge National College Match. So I didn't apply through financial aid since I was applying through Questbridge. Yeah, so Princeton was one of the schools that I ranked. So for Questbridge, I don't know if you guys came to the session on Tuesday. The first Questbridge, you're able to apply to up to 15 schools early decision. So I had applied to 11 schools early decision, and Princeton was, I think, choice 6 or 5. But yeah, so I didn't apply through financial aid or anything else. I applied through the Questbridge National College Match, and I found out December 1st that I matched to Stanford, and that I was going there. So yeah. Did you get a help when you wrote essay for each application? So for the Milken Scholars Program, I did not get help when I was writing my application, only because the essay was not very intensive and the question was relatively, like, I was familiar with it since I had done my college applications. So because when you once start like your college applications, you're gonna write out a bunch of essays for different prompts for colleges. So you're gonna have a lot of writing that you can choose from to submit to Milken or whatever scholarship you're applying to. So no, I did not get help, but I did just use the ones that I had used for college. Because since I was applying early decision, I had to finish all 11 applications by November 1st. So like September to end of November was like good, like writing 3-month period. So I just wrote a bunch of essays back to back to back to back. So that was quite a bit. So I had a lot written down. Oh, did I get help for my college applications? No, I did not. I did everything on my own. Only because I typically my story was my personal statement was kind of personal to me. So I didn't really want anybody else getting into that or anything. I just was just going off my own. So no, I did not get help on writing my college applications. I just happened to be lucky and matched. Um, yeah, but it is regular. Like you guys should get help if you feel comfortable doing that from your peers. I know I took when I was taking AP Lang in high school, we did have a session where I could just, exchange like paper essays with the teacher and even with students and get feedback from them. I just chose not to participate in that since my essay was kind of personal to me and I did not want anybody sort of understand that. Okay, let's do the next one. All right, program resources. So I told you guys a bunch about the selection process and the criterias, but what benefits do you even get, right? That's the main question. So that's a little photo from my recognition dinner. So let me just first clarify what recognition dinner is. Recognition dinner is this big dinner that the program hosts in each like area that celebrates the scholars of that year. So for my year, this was June 8th. It was June 8th my year. It was June 8th this past year. So I'm assuming it might be June 8th next year, but it's usually like early June. And they book out this really nice hotel in Manhattan, super fancy, really pretty. And the scholars get to go in the morning and we get to meet the people of the program in person for the first time. And then we got to also meet the other scholars. So this was the first day that I met my other peers. So my year, there were 5 Milken scholars, 4 girls, 1 guy. Woo-hoo. But yeah, I got to meet all these people in the morning of that day. We did a lot of building, like understanding each other, community building, fun activities to break the ice, getting to know each other a little bit. So this was my cohort. So it was really nice, really fun. And then we got a lot of food, and then we got ready for a cocktail, which was at around 6 p.m. So we were having our families come over to this hotel for the recognition dinner. So I asked my parents to come. I could ask my siblings to come. You can ask anybody. You can ask friends to come. And they come in and celebrate you. This is a really nice dinner place, and they do a spotlight. So they announce the new scholars, and you guys walk in one by one, and you're like inducted into the community. So they give you a little pin that says Milken Scholars on it. And then you also do a little speech there at the dinner to tell people. You can say anything you want. People go from like thanking their parents, their community. They talk about their future goals to pretty much like a random story. But yeah, you have the opportunity to speak in front of hundreds of people who are extremely successful and who are your mentors, who are people that you now have a connection with, and you're able to ask questions and connect with whenever you need that help. So yeah, and this is also when you receive the first $2,000 of the scholarship money. So a total scholarship amount of $10,000 will be given to you, but this is split up into 2000s the end of every school year. So the first 2,000 that you earn or you get is at this recognition dinner. So for New Yorkers, us, it's gonna be the June of your senior year. So the little blue envelopes that they were holding with our name on it, that has the check with the $2,000 in it. And the great thing about this program is that the money that they give you goes straight into your bank account. So I know I have a bunch of other like scholarships, but the problem with those is that it gives the money directly to my school. So I never have a chance to use it on something else. Like if I need to buy myself a laptop, I can't use that money on that. So in like Questbridge, for example, Questbridge offers a 4-year full scholarship to my school, but I am not able to take any of that money, and I don't ever see that money because the program and my school directly correlate and coordinate. So I don't ever actually get to see the money. So if I need to buy a new laptop or if I want to travel, I really can't use that money. And a lot of scholarships have this like restriction that the money that you receive, the scholarship money, does go directly to the school. So you never get to actually see it. which I completely understand because people might misuse it. But the beauty of this program is it's literally creating lifelong leaders for a better world. If you can see it in the back too, it says Milken Scholars, lifelong leaders for a better world. That is the motto. So they really do believe that you guys are like the better of the world, and they trust you with the money. So you get to keep all the 10,000 to your bank account. So if you want to travel, if you want to buy a new laptop, you want to pay for some clothes you want to buy, you want to pay for a new car, whatever it is that you need the money for, they believe that you're going to use it for the good. So then you get the $2,000 at the end of every year. So my freshman year just ended. All I do is submit my transcript. I have to maintain a GPA of 3.0 every year, and then I get the 2,000 every year into my bank account. So that adds up to a total of $10,000. So that is the first thing and the really big thing. Number two is ongoing academic and career-related counseling, which I think is probably one of the most important benefits of this program. Like everybody needs help when they are going into college and higher education in general. Obviously, this is a help. Kweller Prep this offers a lot of resources for making sure that its students excel. Same thing with this program. They have academic counseling. So if you are struggling in school and if you need help, you need somebody to talk to, you need some advice on your career, you can reach out to hundreds of people in this network to ask them for it. There are scholars in every field. If you want to go into medicine, you want to go into finance, you want to go into the most random thing, like you want to go into CS or like, I don't know, marine biology, there you will find one from your field. There's everyone there for each other. So for me, for example, last year when I went to the summit, I was really confused about whether I wanted to go to business school or not. Since I know a lot of like finance programs like it, but I just didn't know if it was necessary or not. And after I talked to a bunch of people who are in finance, who have gone to a business school, they said that it was, for them, it was a waste of their time since they didn't really learn anything besides like making connections, which helped me narrow down my choices and make my career path, only because I personally would have never known that unless I was sitting in their shoes. And I don't know anybody from my home that has gone to business school that, you know, knows anything about it. So this is like your second family. Everybody is just so sweet and kind to you here. It literally feels like a different family. People who interview you, you're going to eventually become like best friends with them. But yeah, number three is assistance with career-related experiences through internships and shadowing opportunities. So they do help you land internships. You can even intern at the Milken Scholars Foundation in DC. You can intern for them, work with different videos, programs they host. They actually, sometimes you can directly reach out to a scholar and be like, hey, you have a company. I was wondering if I'm able to intern here. I'm also a Milken Scholar. It's just about connections. You can also shadow. If you are a freshman in college and you want to go into medical school and you want to start early on your shadowing a doctor journey, you can reach out to a scholar and be like, hey, can I please shadow you? And 99% of the time they will say yes. So that's because the bond we have within each other is just so strong, and we try to be there for each other. The last one is a graduate fund, which assists students as they prepare for the world of work or graduate school. So this, for people who are entering the world of work, it's more about like guidance and talking through things. For people going to graduate school, they do help with like costs of applying to graduate schools. As you know, the applications have a lot of fees. They sometimes even graduate schools ask you for an interview, and they want an in-person interview. So sometimes you do have to fly from New York to a different state, and you might not be able to cover that. The Milken Scholars Program will help you with that. They will pay for your expenses to travel for this interview that you need to go to. They will, if you need to buy professional clothing and you don't have that for an interview, they will help you with that. So a lot of things that they're always there for you. And it's not like you're in there for the first year, you never think about them again. You go there back to back every year and you just keep coming back, which is why you just build rich and lifelong relationships. I think we had a question. What did you focus on when you wrote essay? So for my personal statement, mine was very straightforward because of my background is very unique. I simply wrote about that and I connected that to like my actual life journey about, I personally am, as a person, very, very passionate about education, and I always have been, because my community never had access to education growing up. So I was always a big advocate for that. My family was a really big advocate for that. Even my dad, who has not even completed high school, he is a really big advocate of that. So mine was very straightforward to write, and I knew exactly what I wanted to write, which I know is not the case for everybody, but I wrote about my background. You mentioned college match before. What is that? So college match, I was referring to the Questbridge National College Match, which is a program. It's a scholarship program that you apply to in order to match with a college, and you get a 4-year full scholarship that pays for your tuition and your housing and boarding and traveling, all of that. It's covered. We did do a webinar on this on Tuesday. If you missed that, I think there should be a recorded link of that. So reach out to Kweller and or Ben, to whoever you want, but reach out to the center and they will help you learn that. And I'm sure they might be able to share the video with you. But yeah, reach out, or you can just do research on your own. If you just type in Questbridge National College Match, you can read about it. Cool. Other resources. So that's not where it ends. So throughout our college careers, scholars are in regular communication with the scholars staff and each other. And we meet with the staff and the mentors during campus visits, special events, holiday dinners, recognition dinners, and our annual summit. So we have campus visits twice a year. And the beauty of this is it's because they want to be like your family. The way your family would come to visit you in school to make sure you're settled in correctly in your first year, make sure your mental health is fine, making sure you don't have any stress. If you need somebody to talk to, that's what they are, literally like your family. They will travel from different states just to come and see you. And they go to every single school that has a scholar. So, and you can imagine how many schools there are throughout the country that has Milken scholars in it. So they spend the money and they travel for days to go do these visits. They meet with you one-on-one. So your freshman year, you're gonna your first campus visit, you're gonna in the fall, you're gonna meet one-on-one with a staff or a mentor. It's going to be a staff. Usually mentors are people who are in your school that you're assigned to that help you navigate through college, which is so helpful. My mentor was 1 year older than me, and I got a lot of guidance from him even before coming to school, which I didn't think I needed, but I really did. There was a lot of things that I didn't know about the college process that he had already been through and helped me avoid making the mistakes that he made. So you meet with a staff your first fall quarter or fall semester, whatever you guys do for your school, because my school runs on a quarter system. If your school runs on a semester system, it's okay, it doesn't matter, same thing. They will come in around October to visit you guys, and they come in one-on-one, either whenever you guys are free. You don't have to take a day off from school. They really navigate around your clock. So whenever you have an hour or 2 hours between classes, you can go and meet. Sometimes it'll be like dinner. They'll take you out for dinner, or they take you out for lunch, or even breakfast. So, and they just want you to get comfortable with us, and really talk about how your experience at college has been. The campus visits are super nice. The bottom right photo was my school visit for the spring quarters. This was I believe April. The other two girls with me. So after the first meeting, other campus visits happen with other scholars, just so you guys can all. It's not a one-on-one thing. It's more like it's an official foundation staff, and then with a bunch of scholars from different years sitting together. So in my case, I was with the staff, and then these two friends. They're seniors in my school and extremely smart people. And that was the first time I was meeting them. And I actually saw them again in the summit when I went this past July. So really nice connections. They both are extremely smart people, and you need connections in order to succeed in this world. The easiest way you will succeed is by having connections. And this is exactly what that program provides you. And we have special events, as in panels. We'll have a alumni symposium where you can just go and watch what the alumni are talking about. We sometimes have book clubs. if there's an author who was a scholar and he or she has released a new book, they give it out for free to the scholars, and we have a little book club sitting together, either in DC or it's in different states. So it's really it depends if you want to go or you don't, but they have these special events throughout the year. And then holiday dinners. This is so, so nice because, like I said, this is a family. So we do have holiday dinners for different states or counties, I guess. So in December, LA has one, and DC has one, and New York has one, where we go again into a nice restaurant in the city, all dressed up, and all of the New York scholars who can make it come, and they have a nice dinner, holiday dinner, Christmas vibes, really nice. I wasn't able to go this year only because my school was on a quarter system, so I did start school by the time that they actually had the dinner. But I know a bunch of other people who went. So the bottom left picture is one of the campus visits where we went out for lunch, and then the top photo, the big one, is our annual summit. So every year we have a summit in July. It's a 4-day summit where we go to California, or it really depends. It changes every year, the location of it. So it really depends. But you go there and you have a summit. So you meet the new scholars of that year and you get to engage. We have a bunch of panels, a lot of career advising, a lot of just learning, and a lot of fun activities. So you're actually bonding. Last year, it was in UCLA. This year it was held at St. Mary's, also in Los Angeles, just closer to Beverly Hills, different campus. And we had a beach day. So this is the class of 2022. This is a mixture of LA scholars and New York scholars. Not all of us, obviously, but these are the closest friends that I have. Some Milken scholars from LA and New York. And we went to the beach. We did a bonding activity. It was really nice. And we have that every single year, and it's all expenses paid. So you don't have to worry about paying for your Uber to the airport, or paying for the airplane ride, or paying for the hotel, or paying for the food. Everything is paid for. You just go and you enjoy and you learn and you just engage. So we have that. It's really, really nice. I believe starting next year, it's going to be in DC, because we did finish our new building. It's right across the White House. It's called the MCAD, the American Center for Advancing the American Dream, or the Milken Center for Advancing the American Dream, MCAD, right across the White House. It's gorgeous. So that's going to open up next year, and that's where our next summit is going to be. Okay, let's save some time for questions. So thank you for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, you guys can email me. That's my email. You can find me on LinkedIn, and that's where you want to connect. Let's see. In average, how many books did you read when you were in middle school, high school? I am not a big reader. Like I said, I am a STEM student. I am being a math major. I do not like reading. But in middle school and elementary school, I did do a lot of reading. Not very hard stuff, very easy. I grew up reading a lot of Cam Jensen books. I'm sure it's the girl with you guys know, it's a girl with a photographic memory. That's because I was learning English at that time. So I needed to read really easy books that would help me learn the language. So I didn't read too many books in high school. A lot of things that I read were like for a class. I read like Stamped, for example, Racism, Anti-Racism in America. I've read Colleen Hoover's book, Verity, a bunch of different books, but not because I was interested in them, only because it was for class. So I was not a big reader at all. Cool. Any other questions you have at all, guys? You could ask. Yeah, I really recommend writing down in your calendars when these timelines are. And so you make sure that you are on top of your things, and you reach out to your guidance counselor earlier, just so he or she has a heads up for the opening nomination cycle of that year. So for seniors, income requirements, they don't have an income requirement, specifically the criteria that I showed you. Yeah, so the selection criteria I showed you, it's literally this, if you go on their website, this is also what you will see. So it doesn't tell you a specific like requirement for what your income has to be. It's just if it is one, they'll take it. If it's not one, that's totally fine. You can have other obstacles. This doesn't have to be an income. It's not an income-based scholarship. It's a character-based scholarship. So it's not about if you are low income or high income. It's just about, are you a good person? But yeah, if you do have financial problems, you obviously should apply for it more. But there's no specific requirement for income. Groovy. How long did you study SAT at Kweller? I did the Kweller summer camp, SAT summer camp. So I believe it was a 6-week program. I was coming in, I believe it was June 28th, or this year was June 28th, I don't know. But it was a 6-week program. So it was 4 days a week, 4 hours a day. But I did study on my own for the SAT as well. But I just really needed that extra push that Kweller prep was able to give me that I just couldn't find in myself. There was a specific threshold that I reached studying on my own, but I just needed that extra push to really like master the SAT, and I just wasn't sure how I get to that point. So that's why I reached out to Kweller Prep, and it really helped me get those last really important points that are so difficult to get. Because it's really easy to improve on the, like, it's easier for us to move on to go from a 1200 to a 1400 than it is for someone to go from a 1500 to a 1520. Like, that's just, it looks like it's just very easy since 20 points, but it's really, really hard to get to that point. So that's what Kweller Prep helped me with. And I was done with their program in August, and then I had signed up for the SAT in September, but my September SAT got canceled. So then I ended up taking it in October. But I was trying to take it right after, but they didn't offer one in August that year. They offered one in September and October. My September one got canceled. I took the October one in Connecticut. So a total, like, studying at Kweller with my own studying was about 3 months. But Kweller was really what I needed to really push myself for the last couple points. Any other questions, guys? Oh, of course, yeah. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'll leave my email up. Just if you guys want to reach out, feel free. And if you guys don't have any questions, you are able to sign off. Thank you so much for coming. Work hard and say thank you to Kweller, because this is something that I don't think I've seen before. I don't think a lot of test prep locations host webinars for their students. So very, very happy that Kweller does that. Thank you, guys. Tuesday's webinar was the Questbridge National College match. So Quest, BRIDGE Bridge National College match. Yeah, that was on Tuesday. Same time. It was from 7 to 8, but the session was recorded, so I'm sure you might be able to get the video if you need it. So reach out to Ben or to Francis, and they will help you out. It was a very good informative session. We had 3 Questbridge scholars. Discover the requirements. Admission to a 4-year college or university prior to final selection. Sure. So yes, sorry. right? Criteria. So the bullet point where it says admission to a four-year college or university prior to final selection. So final selection refers to the point where you are announced as a Milken scholar, right? So they need you to be admitted into a university, a four-year college. So obviously, because it starts so late and the entire process is still going on in April and May and June, you already find out whether you are going to a school or not towards the end of March. And if not May, definitely it's you find out what school you're going to. So this bullet point is just saying that you have to have you are going to college pretty much. That's all it's saying. That you know you're going to college, what schools that you're going to, and it has to be a four-year school. Yeah, I can send out the email. It's not a problem. Let me just pull it up. Okay, it's just Kweller, fk@kwellerprep.com. Or you could reach out to Ben. Any other questions? Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming, guys. Take care. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out through email or reach out to Ben and Francis. They will connect you to me. I'm able to do Zoom calls in person. I'm here until September, so if you guys do want to have a meeting, that's fine too. Even after that, I do like college applications. If you guys want to talk on that, whatever you want. So you guys can reach out to Ben to schedule that if you guys are interested. But thank you for coming. Take care, guys. It is almost 8. Just stop sharing. Take care. Bye.